Hello everyone! Thought I'd put up this quick Portal update video. Most of the code is functional at this point, but there are still some bugs, so thought I'd kind of demonstrate those issues and check to see if you guys still wanted a tutorial on it. I guess to start with was an issue that was still there in the last video I uploaded, which is kind of this cascading effect. Now that's kind of a bug with how, well it's not a bug, but it's how scene capture components work. Since we're basically using the portal as a screen and a virtual camera behind this frame to capture what it should see. And it's a lot like if you have a camera hooked up to your computer and you kind of hold it up next to it, like next to the monitor, and it does like the repeating image over and over and over. It's basically exactly the same thing. So that's why you can kind of see this wavy thing when you move, because every frame it keeps adding another layer to infinity. Floor rendering works now. Kind of spirals off to infinity. Which is pretty neat. Same with ceilings. Also, you can jump through them properly now. Oops. Properly now. There we go. There's still a bug that kind of teleports you back and forth every once in a while. But as long as you keep like moving through, it seems to be fine. You can jump from ceilings and walls of all angles, and it works just fine. You can also drop objects, like static meshes and anything with physics on it. It does use on-component overlap, so you'll notice that sometimes there's objects that get stuck on it, but just moving it around seems to fix it. Let's get some of these things out of here. But it's pretty fun to play with. And it does mostly work. Oops. Anyways, I'll show you the code now, and in case you want to duplicate it. And if you want me to do a full tutorial, then I absolutely will. It'll just take a little while. So in the portal holder blueprint, it contains both portal frames, both virtual cameras, scene captures, with these cube static meshes attached to them. I do this so I can visualize it when I'm working on the code, but they're both hidden in game, so it's not really important. And so event begin play, create materials for the two portals, set 2 timers for updating the portals, their location and image, and for checking to see if you've teleported, as kind of an extra check to see that, so you don't bounce back and forth between the two. The teleporting code is pretty ugly. I didn't really do much to shrink it or check to see if there's a better way, but this is kind of just what I'm doing now. It's full of little checks to see if you've teleported already, or if you're the player that's teleporting, or if it's the floor or ceilings that it's colliding with. But at the end, it just launches the character with the velocity multiplied by the forward vector. And the controller yaw is so I can rotate it by 90 or 180 degrees. All these are pretty weird numbers, but it just seems to work the best. And then this piece of code is for static meshes or any other overlapped components with physics. This piece of code is duplicated directly from this piece of code. It's just I changed some of the references here so it does the opposite if you're going the other way. And the portal refresh code is all in a function here. And it looks pretty complicated, but I'm really happy with how simple it is compared to some other stuff that I've done. It breaks apart the forward, right, and up vectors, takes the dot products of them, and does a bunch of really weird math on it. I had to take out a piece of paper and write down all the different calculations that I needed to figure out this line here. Same with this part here. But it works pretty well with what I'm doing. Yeah. Some of the old code that kind of to get me to this point where I have these nice little chunks here, is right here. This was the first portal code that I came up with about a week ago. This used law of cosine and changed the angle of the camera and made all these weird distortion effects. It's very similar to the video that I uploaded a few months ago on portals. This is the original working portal, portal image adjuster, I guess. And then these are the two teleporting scripts that I came up with, but either of them worked very well. So, pretty happy with how compact this stuff is. In the first-person character blueprint, there is some stuff for spawning the portal holder actor, as well as a tick event that checks which left or right mouse button is being pushed, and draw a line trace, and then spawn in either the blue or the orange, or not spawn in, move in the blue or the orange wherever it hits, using the impact normal, taking a rotation from that, checking to see if it's on the floor or ceiling. This is the piece that took me forever to figure out. But yeah, it's all pretty much there. The individual portals are just... I designed them in Blender to have two materials. There's the frame and then the surface. The surface is mapped so that the entire square is one texture, UV texture image. And so the target material is put on the surface, which has these different parameters, so I can adjust the field of view and the offset. And kind of all filters into this bit. It's an emissive, so it's not affected by light. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I was saying with the room, you kind of need to have one-way walls, otherwise it'll see the wall and not be able to see through it. So I just show you kind of what I'm talking about. So if the player is here, then the different cameras would be about maybe here? About here. I don't know. They'd be out here somewhere. And so if you have anything blocking it, in between the portal and the camera, then they'll show up in the render target and it'll just kind of look weird. So level design has to be very simplistic. The resolution of the portals is kind of low, because I'm taking the image and kind of scaling it and moving it around. Has a trade-off of having the field of view being big before it starts having these weird artifacts, but it does mean the resolution has to take a hit. So that's pretty much everything. Again, if you want to see a tutorial, please leave in the comments below. I'll definitely check that. And hope you have a great day.